Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you all so much for joining me here today for another Pick a Card reading. For those of you that may be new to my channel, welcome in. My name is Melissa, and the topic we are reading on today comes from one of my Instagram followers. If you guys are not following me on Instagram and TikTok, I'm going to flash my handles up here on the screen. Please do follow me there because I frequently solicit feedback on what type of content and readings you all want to see. So if you want to have some input into this channel, please feel free to give me a follow there and share your feedback. So the topic that we're reading on today is called, Are You Made for Each Other? Now, this was a little bit of a clickbaity title. I'm just going to keep it real with you guys. Really what we're going to be doing in this reading is looking at the compatibility between yourself and your partner or person of interest that you're asking about. The reason I say it's a little bit clickbaity is because it really is subjective when we're asking the question, are they made for me? Is this my person, right? It's all going to depend on you and your person and what you two feel and the vibe between one another. And ultimately, it's your choice, right? So basically what I'm going to do in this reading is I'm going to start off by looking at the compatibilities between yourself and your person. So we're going to look first at the strengths that you two share as a connection. Then we're also going to look at any areas of weakness or things to work on within the connection to see what those look like. And then the second half of the reading, I'm going to be looking at sort of a future timeline. So you can kind of get some ideas as to where this connection may be headed coming into the near future. So this will be a great reading for anyone that's just kind of maybe in a connection and they're curious to know how compatible they are with their partner, just to kind of see how it resonates with them. This can also be great for anyone that might be curious about a specific person they're interested in, but maybe you're not in a committed relationship yet. Maybe you're just dating this person really casually and you want to see what the prospects look like, okay? But always, again, take it with a grain of salt, just because you guys are going to be the ultimate judge of whether or not someone is meant for you or not, okay? This reading will just be here to help guide you through the connection from a spiritual perspective. So let's go ahead and get into our deck selection. We're working with 3 decks today. Starting here on the left, we have deck 1. This is the Rider-Waite Tarot with some beautiful labradorites. Deck number 2 is the Happy Tarot with some rose quartz. Deck number 3, we have the Tarot in Space with some green aventurine. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath, center your energy, think about your connection, think about your person of interest, kind of think about how compatible the two of you are. And when you're ready, go ahead and select the deck or crystal you're feeling the most intuitively connected to. You can scroll to the description box below once you've made your selection to find your timestamp, which will take you right to your reading. We'll see you there. Hey there, pile 1. If you all selected the Rider-Waite Tarot with the labradorite heart, so beautiful. This is going to be your compatibility check-in with your relationship. So we will be beginning on this reading with some pre-shuffled oracle cards, and these oracle cards are going to give us a snapshot into the strengths, the compatibility points in this connection, as well as any areas of concern or areas of incompatibility that you want to be aware of. So like I was mentioning in the intro, this can be a great reading for any connection, whether you're already established with this person or this is someone new. So let's go ahead and first look at the areas in which you guys are the most compatible. So we have divine timing, we have marriage, whoop. We have the other, okay, and we have femme fatale, okay. I'm going to straighten those in a second. For areas of contention or maybe areas that are not as strong, we have third party, we have spiritual lesson. Wow. We have the unsaid, and we have the mother. Okay, give me a second, you guys. I have to get these cards in frame. I can't function like this. Hold on. All right, pile 1. Now that I got it all straightened out, let's go ahead and dive into your message. So I'm going to start off here on the left We're going to focus more on the energies of which the two of you are the most compatible at this time. And then we're going to take a look at the areas of opportunity or the areas where you guys are not as compatible or something that you may need to work on as you move forward within this connection. I do just want to say, I don't think I mentioned this in the intro, but this is intended to be sort of like an energy check-in. So please just keep in mind, you guys, that these are just how the current energies are sitting at the time of you viewing this video. Things can always shift and change depending on the different actions that we take and how things go. So starting off here, the areas in which the two of you are the most compatible, we have a lot of things going on over here. Starting off here with the femme fatale. So this is an energy that talks about the erotic energy of the feminine, opens your heart when your dependency is rejected. Intuitively, I'm feeling like this union between the both of you is very much so filled with chemistry. I think the two of you have a very like a sensual attraction to one another. I feel like there's a lot of physical chemistry that the both of you share. But it's not just physical. That's not the only thing that I'm seeing here. With the marriage card coming through, I definitely feel that there's a sense for both parties in this connection that they're ready for the relationship to move to the next level. This talks about moving toward a sacred union. So if you guys are not in a committed relationship yet, then both of you are on the same page about wanting to move on to being committed. If you're already in a committed relationship, like as a boyfriend and girlfriend or partnership, then there's an understanding that we want this to go to marriage, right? So there's definitely compatibility in the sense that both people are wanting to move the connection into something deeper, something more sacred, really moving it on to the next level. But there's also a very patient energy coming through here with divine timing, right? Divine timing is kind of this vibe of like, things are going to happen when they're supposed to happen. We're not going to force it, right? We're loving the way it is right now and kind of living in the moment and enjoying how it is right now without feeling like you're on like in a rush or feeling like pressured to progress to the next step because of like those societal expectations, right? Like I'm thinking of how, you know, a lot of times when you start dating someone and you've been with them for a while, the friends, the family come out of the woodwork. They're like, when are you getting married? When are you having kids? Like all that stuff. I feel like the two of you are kind of on the same page that like, yes, we want this to go to the next level, but we're doing it in our own time. We're doing it in the timing that works and feels the best for us, which is good. I also think too, with the other coming through here, like this is an interesting energy when it comes to compatibility. And there's a lot of messages being highlighted on this card. But this also kind of talks about like a fork in the road or an option. So I definitely feel like maybe both parties in this connection are at a place where they're like ready to make a shift. They're ready to make a change. They know that it's like time to make a big decision around this connection. Now this card also does talk about like other options. It talks about another interest in another or another man/woman. This could be the type of connection because we also have like third party coming through here. So I'm not sure like what the dynamics of your relationship are. This is just a message I'm getting for somebody that's watching this. But another area of compatibility in this connection could be something around like having a more open connection, like a more open relationship or like, what is it called? Polyamorous relationships or something like that, where you would be inviting others into the connection as well. So that could be a message coming through for some of you out there, but for the majority, for some of you, I do feel it's more about like this feeling of like the fork in the road and being ready for next and knowing that it's time to kind of make a decision here. Let's see. I also feel like, you know, this femme fatale talks about opens your heart when your dependency is rejected. So I think that this group, it's almost like there's been this healing, I think, that's taken place in this connection around dependency issues or codependency issues as well. I feel like for some of you, maybe there was a time in this connection when one party versus the other was more like dependent on the other, or more latching on to the other party. And this feels more like empowerment energy to me now, where like both people are able to depend on themselves independent of the relationship. And so when you come together, it makes the connection stronger because of that. There's not like this over dependency on the. Sorry, you guys, Mercury retrograde, my camera just cut out and stopped recording. So something else that I'm getting for the strengths here, kind of like this energy of the other, an admirer from afar. I'm almost getting a vibe that for some of you that chose pile 1, this could be a connection that's not quite in union just yet. Because especially as we have a lot of like that third party energy on the other side, which we'll get to in a minute, like I wonder for some of you viewing this, if this is like a divinely guided union that's about to come into union for you. We're going to see here when I pull the tarot cards, but I'm almost feeling like if you guys are not with this person in a relationship currently, this almost kind of feels as though both parties have been admiring the other from afar and wanting to be together, but maybe the timing has been a little bit of an issue with this connection, which takes me over here. So this is the side where we're going to talk about maybe the areas that are kind of holding this connection back or areas that are needing some work, okay? And these are all things that can be fixed. Just keep that in mind. So it's interesting because we have the energy of the mother here. So on the shadow side, this talks about smothering or abandoning children, instilling guilt in children for becoming independent. It's an interesting dynamic, you guys, because this shadow side of the connection kind of talks about instilling guilt for being independent, whereas the strength side had that energy around dependency and kind of healing that. Oops, sorry guys. So I'm almost wondering if there's something that needs to be healed within this connection around dependency, especially with the mother coming through here. It's like this could be a connection where like maybe in the past or maybe currently, there's sort of been this like parent-child dynamic where like one person in the relationship is overly like smothering or mothering, quote unquote, to the other. And the other one is almost just like not taking care of their responsibilities. They're like overly dependent on one party here to do everything for them, right? And there's varying degrees of this, you guys. Like the way I'm describing it is probably sounding really extreme, but it could just be little stuff, right? But this is still coming through as something that needs to be healed. There could also be a message around abandonment here as well for this connection. Like if there was a time of separation here, both parties felt like they were abandoned during that time. Now, the third party energy doesn't always have to mean a person, even though I was kind of picking up on that in the strength section. You know, third party just talks about there's a wedge between you, right? So right now, as you guys are viewing this reading, even though there is this willingness to want to be together and take things to the next level, there does still appear to be some sort of a wedge, some sort of third party interference here. So this can be talking about like maybe somebody has children that they need to put first and they don't have time to dedicate to the connection right now. This can be talking about work. This can be talking about one person healing from a breakup. Just having other things on each other's plate that kind of put that distance between the two of you. But this is supposed to be a lesson that you guys are learning right now. And it's interesting that the spiritual lesson is coming up as the weakness, right? So I think that as you guys are thinking of this connection, as you are moving through the connection, whether you're in union with this person now or in separation, Spirit is wanting you to pay closer attention to the spiritual lesson that you're supposed to be learning from this person, because this person is in your life to teach you a spiritual lesson. And it could be around things like priorities or, you know, it could be things around dependency. That seems to be a common theme that's coming through here for this group. Something else that's showing up here as a weakness is the unsaid. This says showing I love or like you without physically saying it or didn't say it yet. So there is also something in this connection that needs healing around communication, right? When we are able to show each other, it's like I almost wonder if like you guys are, neither person is really being honest with the other about how they truly feel deep down at times. And so like this could be what's causing the wedge as well. Is like if you guys don't know how each other truly feels, then there is going to be a natural block there, because how do you take action from that? You know what I mean? If both people are in separation and no one's knowing how the other person really feels about them, like how do you make progress, right? So I definitely think there's something here around communication. I also think there could be something here around acts of service with your person. So like this is it's like the ability to be able to show someone that you care versus having to tell them that you care, right? Like your actions speak louder than your words. So there's something here around the actions that both people take that's a little bit of an imbalance here, that could be something to work on from a compatibility perspective. So this is interesting. Next, what we're going to do is I'm going to move these guys off to the side, and we're going to just get a little check-in to see where this connection is heading in the next couple months, okay? So like near future. Let's put this guy up here. And we're going to use the tarot for this. So for my pile 1 viewers, please give us some insight into where this connection is heading for my group 1s coming into the future. So for me, near future is like the next 3 to 6 months or so. That's what I'm going to ask about. Where is this connection heading? Coming into the near future. Pile 1. All right. Okay, we have the Wheel of Fortune. We have the 3 of Pentacles, the 7 of Swords, Ace of Cups, Knight of Wands. Bottom deck energy is the Hermit card reversed, which is actually a good sign. So the more I'm getting into your reading, pile 1, the more I do feel that like you and this person may not be in communication right now. Because the Hermit card reversed kind of talks about like being ready to like come out of hiding, being ready to come out of a time of separation or isolation from one another, being ready to sort of re-engage with someone again. And I definitely do see that that will be happening as the energy stands today. So what am I seeing here? I feel like the universe is bringing you two back together, first and foremost, with the Wheel of Fortune. This is like some sort of a destined energy or a destined like meeting that the two of you are going to have by chance. I also think for some of you, this could be someone in this connection just taking a chance and reaching out to the other one to try to work on something. You know, with the 3 of Pentacles coming through, this is very much about like collaboration. This is about trying to make something work, working together. I do have to point out we have a 3 here. So remember how like I was picking up on that third party energy that was coming through in your other cards. So this could be like you guys trying to work together with that third party energy, like to try to come up with a solution that's going to work the best for you. So it could be like, okay, you know, like let's take a chance. Let's try to rebuild. You're always working. How can we collaborate so that work isn't driving a wedge between us? Things like that. But I do still see here with the 7 of Swords, you guys, that there is this communication issue coming in because, you know, the 7 of Swords is about like not necessarily telling the other person how you really feel. It sometimes gets a bad reputation for being kind of a sneaky, shady energy, and that could very well be the case for some of you out there. But because we had so many messages around like communication that came through and like kind of like not saying how we really felt, you know, we had that other card that was like the other, kind of like standing back and from afar, but not really saying your truth. I think that this is still going to play out as being a problem. And I wouldn't be surprised if one person in this connection, or maybe even both coming into the near future, like kind of slips away or tries to ghost or something because they're not feeling like emotionally fulfilled. You know, the Ace of Cups is very much about like, you know, there's potential here, there's love here, but the situation is feeling draining, or it's feeling blocked, or it's feeling like it's causing us a lot of anxiety. So there's this energy of like, what I'm feeling is like wanting to escape that coming up. But You guys also have a Knight of Wands here too, which definitely indicates passion. So even if you guys are like in this rebuilding stage, somebody ghosts, or you're in this rebuilding stage and you're still struggling around like the communication piece and really feeling fulfilled, communicating from the heart, right? There's still this energy of chemistry and compassion and like passion coming in, which is definitely something that we are picking up on with that femme fatale as well, right? So I definitely kind of see the next few months maybe feeling a little bit like an up and down with this person, because the Wheel of Fortune kind of talks about that too, right? Like sometimes like when the wheel is spinning and we're on the upswing, it feels really great. It feels like we're getting so lucky, things feel awesome, but then it always comes back down, right? And that's kind of the vibe that I'm seeing here from both of you, from this connection coming into the near future. So again, as I mentioned in the intro, like energy is always changing. So depending on the actions you guys decide to take around this connection, this could totally shift what I'm seeing here with these cards. But hopefully this is able to give you guys some insight into like what's going on in this connection, the compatibility that you guys have, and where it's coming into the near future. I'm going to go ahead and close it out there, but please make sure that you like, share, subscribe, especially subscribing, you guys. I'm so close to 1,000. So if you enjoyed this video and you aren't subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so, because the closer I can get to 1,000 subs, you know, I can monetize, I can do all sorts of cool stuff on YouTube. I can communicate with my audience on YouTube as well, which I can't do right now. So if you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing and joining our little community here. But thank you all so much. I will see you next time. Bye. Hey there, group 2. If you all selected the Rose Quartz Heart, this will be your compatibility reading between you and your person. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to start off with some pre-shuffled oracle cards. We're going to look at the areas of strength in this connection, the areas of opportunity or weakness in this connection. Then I'm going to use the tarot in the second portion of your reading to see kind of where this relationship is headed coming into the near future as the energy stands today. So starting off here, we have patience. We have new love. Aw. We have blowing bubbles. Very carefree energy. And we have the hedonist. Okay. All right, on the weaknesses side, we have settling. We have integrity. We have why. And we have the Avenger. Okay. All right. So let's see, for my pile number 2s. So let's start off with talking about the strengths in this connection. So starting off on the left side of the screen here. So right off the bat, I definitely feel like you and this person have a lot of fun together. You guys have the hedonist, you have blowing bubbles. Both of these cards really talk a lot about like really enjoying each other, having just a good time, going with the flow, indulging in activities and things that you guys just really like to do. It definitely feels like you and this person know how to have fun with each other. Hedonist talks about inspiring creative energy to embrace the good things in life, celebrates the beauty in yourself. I think that celebration in general is just something that the two of you like. So I could even see this couple being someone that likes to go out all the time, like always finding something to like celebrate or party or drink to, right? Like there's just this energy of like fun, indulgence, enjoying pleasures, just having a really good time together and just kind of going with the flow. I see that here in patience as well. Like both parties in this connection are kind of on the same page with regard to this kind of carefree energy. And I do think that this is because this is a new connection. So either for some of you, it's a new person that you just started dating, which would make sense with why we have some of this more go with the flow energy, no expectations. But for others of you, this is just talking about there's like a recommitment to love in your existing connection. So this just kind of means that like we're looking at the situation through fresh eyes. We're welcoming in fresh, light energy. And both people are on the same page in terms of just kind of being patient with the situation and not trying to force anything one way or another. So I definitely see this as being like really beautiful energy and really good to kind of be on the same page there, because I think a lot of times in relationships, we tend to see the opposite, right? Like we'll see one person that's taking it really seriously and they have a lot of expectations they're putting on it. the other person's more laid back, and then it creates that friction there. So I definitely see that both of you are on the same page with just wanting to have fun, go with the flow, and just allowing things to happen in divine timing here. Now let's take a look at the areas where you may need some work in this relationship. So let's see. I definitely think that there is something about this connection that both parties are questioning right now. Like, because we have the messages of settling and integrity, integrity talks about, does this situation align with your values and morals? So there's something about this relationship that may be a little bit outside of the norm from what you would typically want, or what your typical type would be, is kind of the vibe I'm getting here. And I think this is why we have the message of settling here, this kind of gray energy. And, you know, you guys, settling doesn't necessarily mean that, like, we don't think someone's good enough for us. Sometimes this can have to do with our own energy and what we are personally bringing to the table, right? So there could be this energy of settling because maybe one or both parties in this relationship don't feel like they're really up to standard to offer this person something really great. Maybe somebody in this connection is at a point in their life where they're just like not feeling good about dating, or they're not feeling good about themselves. And so there's like this question of, am I bringing my best self into this connection right now? You know, morals and values also can talk about like differences that we may have with this person around certain fundamental beliefs that we have. So that there could be like a political ideology difference. I'm sort of picking that up here. There could be some sort of like religious difference, like your religious beliefs are different. It could even just be like the way the two of you live your lives could be slightly different. And so that's why there's sort of this question here of like, am I settling right now, from both parties, not being sure about how to move forward. But honestly, you guys, I think this is fine, especially if you're in a new connection. Like, you're still taking your time to figure this person out, right? It takes time to see if you're compatible and if you can be able to kind of overcome some of the differences. Now, something that I'm seeing here, though, that seems a little bit more of significance is the why energy. So this talks about being frustrated and annoyed with somebody. And the bigger message that is really drawing my eye here is the message of focusing on the solution rather than the problem. So I'm almost wondering for some of you if there's a tendency with this person, with this connection, where like you guys might get a little frustrated and annoyed with each other, like over the differences that you two have. There also could be a tendency here to focus on like, you know, maybe trying to like brush a problem under the rug instead of really getting to the root cause of where the problem is coming from, right? Focusing on the solution rather than problem. So it's like we're trying to fix it, but we haven't really properly addressed the problem at hand yet. So the Avenger card, this talks about the desire to balance the scales of justice, righteousness on behalf of society or oneself. On the shadow side, this talks about resorting to violence in the name of a cause. I'm not necessarily picking up on that. And I don't think it necessarily means that verbatim, but when I think of like the shadow side of the Avenger, I think of like just maybe having more of like a militant belief system, or, you know, it's not really necessarily a desire to be fair and balanced. It's more of like a desire to be right and to have like your opinion be the one that's the right opinion, winning the argument, right? Versus like just seeking what's right for everybody involved. That's kind of the vibe I'm picking up on here. And with the world map, I don't know why I keep thinking it's like political differences could be a thing in this relationship. I don't know. I hate that I have to say that but it's such a thing right now. It could just be like that the belief systems between you guys are just different. Maybe you guys just both view the world very differently. Maybe there's good reason for that too. So yeah, there's definitely something here around just like morals, values. Are we really in alignment with one another? Is this something we can work out? So what I'm going to do next, pile two, I'm going to push these cards off to the side, and then we're going to shuffle your tarot cards on camera just to kind of get a sense of where this connection might be headed coming into the near future. So when I'm talking about near future, this is like the next maybe 3 to 6 months or so as the energy stands today. And just keep in mind that like energies are always shifting and changing. So this is just what I'm seeing based off the current energy of today when you're viewing this reading. And things can always change depending on the choices and decisions that you guys make, okay? So for my pile 2 viewers, let's go ahead and see, where is this connection headed in the next few months for my pile 2s? You see that cute little 2 of Cups? Let's see though. All right, so pile 2, where is this connection headed? So we have the 2 of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune, the Ace of Swords, Page of Pentacles, 8 of Swords. Bottom deck energy, we have the 9 of Pentacles. So very independent energy. I definitely see like with the 9 of Pentacles, like this is kind of more of that enjoying the pleasures kind of vibe that we were getting. And I definitely still feel like you and this person are going to be like connecting over the next few months. But 9 of Pentacles also talks about being independent. It's kind of like the single, like I'm single, I'm independent, I don't need a person, I'm good with myself kind of vibe. So I definitely see that like the undertone of where this connection is headed in the next few months is more focused on the individual, right? So like you, my viewer, are going to be really more focused on yourself, even as this person is here, and your person is likely going to be more focused on themselves and what makes them happy. Even if the 2 of you are continuing to connect. So I definitely think that there is still going to be this energy coming up here of like deciding. You know, the 2 of Pentacles is very much about like, it's making a decision, it's weighing our options, what's the right choice, is this in flow, right? So I definitely see that being a thing over the course of the next few months. And with the Wheel of Fortune here, this is so funny because this card actually came up in the first pile as well. So if you guys were drawn to pile 1, there could be a message there for you too around the time frames of what's going to happen here. But you know, the Wheel of Fortune really talks about like taking a chance. It also talks about a destined opportunity. You can talk about like the universe throwing a curveball, right? But it also kind of talks about like kind of this up and down, up and down. And I kind of see that being the main theme of this connection right now. Like this person, I do think that you're supposed to be learning something from this person, like a lesson. The universe is placing them into your life for a reason. But I feel like with the Wheel of Fortune, the energy is very up and down. It's like when the connection is on a high, it's great. It feels awesome. You're having a good time. But then when it's like, when the wheel is turning in the other direction and you're coming down from that high, it's like, ugh, this is too much up and down for me. It's like a roller coaster. I do see though that after whatever this Wheel of Fortune event is that happens, I definitely think that there is going to be a moment of clarity that is achieved within this connection, because the Ace of Swords, it certainly does talk about things becoming a lot more clear to us. We're now seeing things in a much sharper way. We're seeing things in a way that we've never really seen it before. So I see that you guys are kind of looking at this person, at this connection through a different way after this sort of up and down or universe throwing you a curveball type of moment. And there's still this energy of curiosity, exploration with the Page of Pentacles coming in. I definitely am still picking up on a lot of that youthful kind of bubbly energy that we were getting in your initial messages here, like the blowing bubbles. But, you know, keep it real with you guys, the Page of Pentacles is more about like beginning, like not too experienced with love. It's very slow moving. So I definitely think this person will still be like making appearances in your life over the next few months, but it doesn't really feel like it's anything that's in a major like big way. It feels like it's going to be more just like sporadic communication or slow communication, maybe going out every once in a while to like chat or, you know, talk to one another. But with the Eight of Swords being here at the ending, it's like there's still some sort of a blockage with this person, like in you. And I definitely think that this is going back to the messages that we had around like integrity and settling, really about our values. Like the way that you guys are feeling about that is what's kind of blocking this relationship from being able to blossom fully. And what's important to know with the Eight of Swords is that, like, you know, it's really just your mental energy that's blocking you. Like, this is about being in fear based off our own thoughts and based off of our own perceptions of, like, you know, oh my gosh, I'm so stuck, I can't get out of it. But really, it's just about your mindset. It's the way that you're looking at the situation that determines the outcome or the experience that you have. I think even looking at this card, you've got like this cute little like bird here in the water. You got these little candies around. This really isn't that scary of a scene, even though there's those swords around. It's like, if they would just unblindfold themselves and get out of the situation, they would be able to enjoy it a little bit better. So I definitely still see those messages around like values and integrity kind of blocking this connection in the next few months from being able to like really blossom, or for you guys to really be able to deep dive and explore one another a little bit better. So that's what I'm seeing for you, pile 2. Hopefully this was able to provide you with some clarity on your connection. Definitely drop me a comment down below. Let me know how it resonated. And if you're not already subscribed, please make sure you are subscribed. I'm super close to 1,000. So if you enjoy my content, I would love for you to join and become a regular viewer of my content. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Hey there, group 3. If you all selected this green aventurine with the tarot in space, this is going to be your compatibility reading between you and your person. So what I'm going to be doing, like I mentioned in the intro, I'm going to start off by diving into the areas in which this connection is the most compatible versus any areas that are not as compatible or need a little bit of work. And then the second half of the reading, I'm going to use your tarot cards to take a look at where this connection may be headed as the energy stands today. Okay, so let's go ahead and see. Starting off with your most compatible areas, we have release, we have passion, we have kicking it. All right. And we have detective. Okay. Interesting. All right. Areas of opportunity, we have mirroring. We have stability. We have secrecy. Interesting. And we have God. Interesting. All right. Sorry, I keep saying interesting every 5 seconds. Let me take a second here and then we'll get into it. Pile 3. Okay. So the areas, we're going to start with the areas of the most compatibility, where the two of you are like the most on the same page right now. Strengths, okay? First and foremost, I definitely see with passion coming through, this connection is a fun connection, especially with kicking it being right next to it. It's like, I feel like both of you guys really enjoy one another's company, and I think that you like to do fun things together. This card also talks about being a team player and also being talented. So there could be something like as a team, like a goal that you guys are trying to achieve that you're very much like on the same page about. This could just also talk about like wanting to be a team player for the other person, like maybe looking at the other as like your better half, or you're really like truly your counterpart, and making choices and decisions like based off of what's best for both people on the team versus self, which is really nice. There could also be some sort like specific talents that you guys share together that you both really enjoy partaking in together as well. It could be like physical fitness or physical activities like it shows in the card, but it could be a multitude of other things. I also see that both people in this connection are incredibly intuitive. So with the detective, this talks about great powers of observation and intuition, desire to seek out the truth. So it's like, I definitely think that both people are probably very spiritual, or even if they don't identify as like spiritual or whatever, like I think both of you guys have great intuitive gifts. You guys want to know the truth of a situation. Maybe you guys are little snoops sometimes, like investigating, trying to get to the bottom of situations, whether it has to do with the relationship and each other or just has to do with things in life in general. There's definitely like an element of curiosity that you guys share, and like trying to figure out and get to the bottom of things. There could be Gemini energy in this connection as well. I'm kind of picking up on that. I think of Gemini as like the truth seeker, always being curious, always asking questions. So that could be of significance for somebody. With release coming through, I feel like both people in this connection, it's like I'm really being drawn to the fire here. I think like the way that you guys get release is through doing things you love in this relationship. Could be like doing things that are very mentally stimulating. I think that's a way that you guys may like to kind of like chill out together, release some tension, stress. But release also kind of talks about like releasing something to the universe, kind of letting go of expectations. And I kind of am getting like that vibe here, like with Kicking It, with Detective, like this is a very like light energy on this side where it's like, it doesn't feel like either party is really trying to like force an outcome or force a situation. It's kind of just like whatever happens is meant to happen, and we're just going to enjoy each other in the time that we have together, not worrying so much about the outcome. Okay, so moving over here to the areas of, you know, maybe incompatibility or just like an area that needs work in this connection. We start off with mirroring. So mirroring is telling me that there is a tendency in this relationship for both parties to mirror one another's good, but also mirror one another's not so good. So when you guys are asking or thinking about your person, like whatever is triggering whatever maybe sometimes triggers you about your person and their behavior, you also need to be doing some work to look within at yourself, because there's something in your energy that's very similar to theirs. So I'm not 100% sure, because this is showing like in the shadow side, like I don't know if you're totally aware of the mirroring or if you guys are both totally aware of the mirroring, but there is this element of like, you know, mirroring at play. And with secrecy coming up, with this card being so blue, I'm almost feeling like communication could be something that needs work in this connection, because blue has to do with the throat chakra. Secrecy is talking about like hiding something, you know, denying something. It's like you're not being totally honest about something, and it could just be as simple as not being totally honest with each other about how you feel all the time. It could be other types of secrets as well. You know, the secrecy card also talks about like an affair, hiding something. I'm not saying those things are happening in your relationship. It's just examples, right? But there's something that like between the two of you that like you're not being totally honest about certain things with one another. So if you find yourself getting triggered by this person, you know, or feeling unstable with this person, you guys are actually mirroring that energy. And I feel like communication would actually help this connection feel a little bit more rooted, a little bit more grounded and reliable. Especially with like stability coming up here on the side of needs improvement. Like, you know, this is telling me that there could be a question here around how secure both parties truly feel with the other. But remember, you're mirroring this energy, right? So if you're coming to this reading and you feel a little bit insecure in this connection right now, your partner is kind of feeling that same thing, because you guys are going off of one another. So this card, the God card, this talks about benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. This also talks about despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. I definitely think there could be something here around control, because it's interesting. The Kicking It card also talks about being in control. So I wonder if sometimes in this connection there's a little bit of control issue, or maybe a little bit of like a power struggle that can happen at times. I'm also wondering if there could be sometimes like a lack of compassion for each other at times as well, with this being the shadow side. I really truly intuitively think that communicating more clearly with your person would help to alleviate some of this, because it definitely seems like you guys have fun with one another. There could be a lot of potential in this connection. So yeah, sometimes like when we're mirroring someone, it's like we don't even realize that we're doing that, because it's like, I feel like this energy usually comes up when we're not being clear with the other person about how we feel. So it's like we just kind of react in a weird way to their behavior, and they react in a weird way to our behavior. But then like no one really ever understands what's going on. Hence the secrecy is kind of the vibe I'm picking up on. I don't know. Interesting. So, okay, so pile 3. Now what I'm going to do, we're going to transition into a little bit of an energy check-in in terms of where this connection may be headed in the near future. So I'm going to be shuffling your tarot cards on camera so we can see where this relationship is going as the energy stands today over the course of the next like few months. So for my pile 3 viewers, let's go ahead and see, where is this relationship headed in the next few months? One more. All right, so we have the King of Lasers. This is the King of Swords. 3 of Pentacles or planets. 4 of Comets. 2 of Comets reversed. The Sun card reversed. Okay. I definitely think that there's an undertone here, you guys, of there needing to be like a big decision that's made in this connection, okay? With the Judgment card coming up here on the bottom of the deck, look at this. We've got 2 people walking together hand in hand, and they're about to like, it looks like almost like they're going to this spiritual being for guidance. I think that there's an undertone here of needing to really evaluate this relationship and make a decision about where we're going with it, okay? Because the energies that I was picking up on, you guys, like, you know, to each their own, right? I'm not here to judge your connection, but the energies didn't feel super, super strong. You know, the energies like joining you both together, it felt very like chill vibes, cool, but nothing like really super rooted and foundational. And so I definitely think that in the next few months, you guys are coming to a place where you're ready to make a real decision. Like, do I want to move forward, or do I want to separate from this person? Is there something better out there for me? And that's ultimately kind of what I see happening. I feel like, you know, the next couple months, you guys are going to take a more kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, there's a more logical approach to this connection with the King of Swords here. A more reasonable, logical, kind of, I don't know, like I'm thinking of structured approach for some reason with this connection. Like, it definitely feels not so much about love, but just about like being very rational in the way that we're managing this connection going forward. And with the 3 of planets, I do see that there's like an effort being made to like work on things, to try to see how it works. But ultimately here with the 4 of Comets, I see there's still this element of feeling a bit dissatisfied with this relationship. So it's like no matter what is offered, no matter what you guys may try, it just doesn't feel like it's connecting. And that's okay. You know, sometimes this happens in relationships. And I do have to say, this is just a snapshot, you know, as the energy stands now. This could totally change, right? Depending on the actions you guys take. But it definitely seems like after a period of trying to work on things, we're realizing that we're not satisfied anymore. And so with the 2 of Comets reversed, this typically indicates a separation, a parting of the ways, or simply a realization that we're just not on the same page exactly. This could also talk about like one person being more like in the friend zone, where the other person has more romantic feelings. So it doesn't necessarily have to mean you're totally splitting up, but it definitely is showing me that there is something that's off balance with this relationship later on in time, which with the Sun card reversed right next to that, I do think that it will feel a little bit disappointing. I'm not going to lie. But I think it's important to remember, you guys, like, there's plenty of other fish in the sea. So even if this doesn't work out, you know, you will find whatever it is you're looking for elsewhere. There's probably something better out there for you elsewhere. And at the same time, if you're viewing this and you're wanting things to like get back on track, you know, now you have a little bit of a heads up of like the deeper dynamics that play in the connection where maybe you can make some adjustments, you know what I mean? And your person can make some adjustments as well. So I'm going to go ahead and close it out there, pile 3. That's what I'm seeing for your reading. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know how it resonated. I love hearing your feedback in the comments. If you're not already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. It definitely helps me out. I'm so close to 1,000. So if you do like my readings and if you enjoyed this one, please consider subscribing. Once I get to 1,000, I can interact more with my subscribers on here. And yeah, it'll just be all good. Thank you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.